Hey everyone, as you guys can see to my left right here in my DTOF, I was able to open up the RFX Midoriya version 2, and I was able to get in my last haul the version 2 of Bakugo and Todoroki, so I want to open both of them together so I can put them together back here. I've seen people get Todoroki, I haven't seen too many people get Bakugo, but I want to open up both of them so you guys can see how they look. I really thought that they did a really good job and they look well together. I guess like the bad thing is that I was able to open up Hawks, but he can't fit in this DTOF and it just kind of looks a little different to be able to put all three of them together. So Hawks is all by himself, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to put them together, but at least I'll be able to keep the three together. Hopefully they all fit. I'm not sure. I think Bakugo might be a little bit taller than Midoriya, but I think they'll fit. So I do want to get started to open them up. I probably will go with Bakugo first and then Todoroki, because Todoroki looks a lot better. I love the ice look base on him more than the rock. So, but I'm gonna open up Bakugo, and his box is relatively big. I went with EMS. It was a little bit cheaper, but I think for DHL, at least to the United States, it wasn't too expensive. But like I said, it did save me a couple thousand yen to go EMS. So he does have a lot of cool effects to him that I'm excited to put together. So let me get this all taken out and you can see what it all comes with. All right, so right here, it has Bakugo and it has all of this stuff in there. So there's not a lot of stuff that you can take out. You can actually take out his head on here. And then you can actually take on, so let's see, okay, so you can actually take off, I think there was something else you could take off, but maybe not. It might just be his head, because you're actually able to put on like his explosions on here. And then a lot of kind of like the flame type like around him. And then his little explosion, so it has it on his left arm, but it doesn't have it on his right. So I'm assuming that we're going to somehow put this on him. So that's just what these instructions are for. So we're going to actually put this together so you guys can see how it looks. But yeah, like it tells them you can actually take out the arm. So I knew there was something else that you can take out. So yeah, there is this arm that you can actually put this on. So I knew there was at least one more thing that I just couldn't put together. So, but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. So as you guys can see, we're actually going to put on everything in. So there's actually two of these right here. As you guys can see, there's one, I think this one's a smaller one right here. And it tells you exactly where to put them. So the instructions will tell you how they're supposed to go. So this first one right here, see exactly, like it tells you how to put them together and where to go. So this one should be a little bit easier than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a little bit harder to find. But see, there's a little hole right there, a place to put it on his head. So you guys know exactly where to put it. So that one's pretty cool. So yeah, that one goes up there. Not relatively hard to put together. Like I said, you just have to probably squeeze a little bit like I did right here. So there is that first one. Like I said, really not too bad. As you guys can see, it goes in pretty well. And then here is this right one. It's the same thing, like I said, that's how it's supposed to go from the instructions, and then that's it. So it really isn't too hard, not too complicated. So the next thing is you can actually take out his forearm. It takes a little bit to pull out, but you can. And then you're actually able to put his gear where it has his grenade there, and they're trying to do it pretty cool. So I do love that it didn't like automatically come in. So it does take a little bit for me to put it in, but it does go fit in relatively easily. As you guys can see, I did finally realize it's supposed to go the hand down because I wasn't quite sure. But after that, yeah, it's pretty easy to put on. So there you go. Next thing is we're going to put like the explosion flames out there. So there's this one right here that you guys can see, and it goes into the right here in the middle. There's holes right there again. It's pretty simple to put on after you look at it in the instructions and know which ones you're putting. I think that one's always my biggest issue, is never knowing which exactly they go on. So
You will have to kind of press a little bit hard because they don't go in that easily. That was the first one. Here's the second one. Trying to get it to focus. This little one right here. It will go underneath here, right beside like the bricks and everything like that, or the rocks. So there's that. Like I said, it is pretty hard to put on sometimes because it won't stick. So here's this next one, as you guys can kind of see. The screen was a little blurry. You will be able to put. I know I'm not showing it very well, but you will have to put here shortly, right next to it, as you guys can see right there. And then there's another one. It's kind of the same way. After you put like the first two on, you kind of understand where they're going. So this next one is actually goes underneath in the very bottom. I'm sorry that I'm not putting it in the camera. It's just very hard to do it while recording. So, but there you go. Like I said, you have to put it in a little bit harder. And then the last one right here actually goes to the side. Like I said, sometimes it took me a little bit, but you can see a little hole right there. Just knowing where to put it. The instructions, like I said, do a really good job of doing it. So there it is.
So this actually turned out fantastic. I really love that they're able to do this. I don't see a lot of good Bakugou figures that have him using his ability. So this right here, this explosion, does look amazing. Just overall, the action shot I think is probably
one of the better ones in My Hero Academia. So as you guys see, the full extension of his blast, and then I love the clouds that they have around it. So, but this is awesome. Like I said, I love the action shot of it. It does really do it justice, especially for Bakugou. He's a pretty crazy character that that does it all over the place. He doesn't, to me, sometimes it doesn't seem like he has a plan, but he does. But I love it. I love that they're able to do this, and it matches what Midoriya's looks like as well, and a little bit of Todoroki's. But yeah, this is one of the better Bakugous that I've seen that they've made. And I did want to get a shot of the base right here because this one's honestly the better one out of all of them, I think, of the rocks. I mean, obviously Hawks, Midoriya's, and Bakugou's, but this one is, I think, the better one because it does have all this action shot. It does have all the explosion, and as you guys can see, like the gray around the rocks of the explosion that he's doing. So this one is definitely the better one, as you guys can see. I love that they also have this like crane right next to it, like showing that he's like around buildings and it's like exploding. So they did a really good job. Like I said, I love it, and I really do think that this is probably one of the better ones of the My Hero Academia line. And I did want to get a closer look at just him in general, of his grenades around him, and even that right there. So he actually has grenades next to him. So if you guys have seen the latest season, he uses them really well. And then right there, yeah, it has a pretty cool shot. I love that they're able to at least have a few in there, but just his uniform and everything looks great, especially for him.
Yeah, and he does look fantastic. I am super excited to put him next to Midoriya. And the next person I'm about to open up is Todoroki. And he actually probably was going to be the one that is going to look, I think, the best. It's just awesome that they're able to do the flames and the ice instead of just like the rocks that everyone else is doing. So he's the one that, out of, I guess, the three, and especially the four, I guess, if you consider Hawks with them as well, that I'm really happy to put together. So let me take everything out again. You guys can see a closer look at Todoroki. So Todoroki doesn't have as much stuff that you have to put together as Bakugou does, or even Midoriya. Midoriya actually had quite a few things that put it together, but as you guys can see, the base looks fantastic. I think this is definitely the way to go, especially when they were doing this, because honestly, I got a little bit tired of the rocks. I mean, it went well because they were all the same, but I think this one, especially for Todoroki, being able to put ice was great. He does have 3 flames pieces that you have to put together. So there's right here, so I'm pretty sure it just goes, is going to be up top, and then it explains it here on the instructions. So you guys can see how he's going to look when we put it in there. So let's see how this looks.
And as you can see, this is Todoroki, has his base right there. And then with the flames right here, this is what we're going to have to put on. It is taking a little bit to focus, but This one is where you're going to start off. You can see that they leave 3 spots. I'm trying to get it to focus, but it has 3 spots right there to put it on his arm. And I did realize you should actually take out his arm first. So that's what we're going to do, just to make it easier, because when you're trying to put it in, it does feel like it's a lot harder to put it in and like be able to put pressure in it. So I did want to take it out. So as you guys can see, right here, you're going to actually put the flames going the opposite way, or I guess towards Todoroki, and then you can actually just fit it in there. So it's actually pretty easy. There's a place for you to actually put his arm on the flame. So there you go. Next thing is going to be the second part. So that little hook is going to go on his hand, and then you can actually just squeeze in there. So it doesn't feel at first that you can fit, but if you squeeze, it will move and it will work. So there's that. So like I said, you just have to move it, but there you go. And you're starting to see a lot more flames, which does look fantastic. But it was a little bit harder to put on than I thought it was going to be. So, and then we're going to see there's actually one more flame on here that you actually have to put on. So it is actually right there. There's 2 holes that you're actually going to be able to put. And like I said, you just have to squeeze. It was a little bit harder for me to put on, so you guys can see. And there you go. So what I suggest is actually, once you know what to do, putting the arm back in there and then putting the flames in. It just was, for me, was a little bit difficult. But there you go. There you can see his Todoroki.
This is one of the better Todorokis that I've seen. Honestly, there hasn't been that many, I don't think, especially at this caliber, at least the scale. I know there's probably a lot of price figures and stuff like that, but for a scale version, this looks fantastic, especially his base.
And it really pops out to me because, as you guys can see, with like the white and the blue mixture, it does actually feel, as you guys can see right there, like it does feel like ice when you're looking at it and then when you're touching it. So that is something that was surprising to me that they're able to do, and I'm super excited about it because it does really fit Todoroki a lot better. And as you guys can see, they did a really good job. There's a lot of feel that you can see. So if you've seen like ice, like snow movies, they have the ice looking exactly like this. So I really do like that they're able to do this.
And that's what and probably one of the things that I'm afraid of is actually like leaning. So as you guys can see here, there isn't a lot of stuff like holding on to it. So I don't know how they're able to do it. So I think that might be something later on that I'll be a little cautious for. That let's see how long he can stay in, because there's not a lot of stuff that's putting it together. Maybe a little bit of glue or stuff like that. So that's something to be worried about, depending on, like I said, if you guys are worried about that stuff. But really, they did a fantastic job. I think they've done a really good job with everyone's like uniforms and gear that they're supposed to wear.
And if you guys have seen the show, you guys can know that Todoroki always wears that in the back, especially like his belt. I don't usually know what he uses it for. If someone knows what that is, I don't really remember him ever using it. But yeah, honestly, this looks great. I love the shade of blue, and especially like his hair right here might be a little off, but it's still nothing that is too bad. But I do love his face. Actually looks really good.
I'm really happy about these two. I think they both turned out great, and especially being able to put it next to Midoriya and putting My Hero Academia figures together, I think it's going to be pretty sweet, especially that they're all pretty much the same size and not anything like too different. So obviously other than the base, but yeah, I think they did a great job. Like I said, I really wish that they were able to do Hawk's, but I know his wings needed to be that big. So I do have a lot of cool stuff coming for July. So that actually shipped already, everything. So I was thinking of not doing a July haul, but because everything's coming together at the same time, I'm actually going to do so. And it's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I'm actually going to do something a little different with it, so you guys will be able to see it probably, I think, next Thursday, because stuff's still going through EMS and all like that. But thank you guys for watching this unboxing, and until next time.